Around the year 956, in the Bohemian Gorge of Libice, a boy was born who was named Wojtek. Sadly, soon after his birth, he fell severely ill. His despaired parents took him to church. There, they swore to make him priest if he made a recovery. What happened next was unheard of, as the baby, breathing his last, miraculously came back to health. When Wojtek turned 16, he was sent to cathedral school in Magdeburg. The Archbishop Adalbert provided care over him. It was the Archbishop's name which Wojtek adopted at his confirmation, and so today he is recognized as Adalbert in most European countries. After years of education, he took holy orders, thus fulfilling his parents' oath. Before he reached the age of 30, Wojtek was elevated to the dignity of the Bishop of Prague. The Emperor Otto II himself handed him the crozier as the sign of the bishop's office. During this ceremony, an uncanny event took place. A man standing near the bishop's throne started yelling terrifyingly, his body shaking in convulsions, eyes flashing like a rabid beast, all because of the evil spirit that possessed the man. Wojtek made the sign of the cross and exorcised him. The demon was expelled. Another time, the bishop saw Jesus Christ in his sleep, who commanded him to oppose slave trade, for which Prague, as well as all Slavic lands, was famous for at that time. Following the divine order, Wojtek went to see the Duke of Bohemia, Boleslav II, and demanded that he should ban slavery. However, the greedy ruler did not comply. Wojtek's life in Prague was not easy. He soon antagonized both the Duke and Czech nobility. Therefore, he fled from Prague twice, either saving his life or searching for a place to be. Having traveled across a considerable part of Europe and eventually, following the advice of his friend, the young Emperor Otto III, he headed for the country ruled by the Prince Boleslav of the Piast dynasty. With the support from the pious ruler, escorted by his valiant warriors, he set out on a mission to convert pagan Prussians. On his way, he baptized masses of pagans in the Gorge of Gdańsk, which had just been included within the Piast domain. Therefrom, accompanied by his brother Radzim and the presbyter Bogusza, they sailed to Prussians. Having arrived there, they intended to preach Christianity to the locals. Prussians, however, were allied on a tribal mood, the verdict of which was to ban and expel the preachers from their land. Nonetheless, Wojtek decided to continue his mission and alongside with his companions celebrated Holy Mass in the Prussian sacred grove. Afterwards, while asleep, they were captured and brought to face the wrathful Prussian priest. As punishment for violating the moot law and desecrating the grove, he stabbed Wojtek with a spear. The head of wretched Wojtek was chopped off and impaled, while his companions were banished. All this took place on April the 23rd, 997. This tragic event set a course for another story. Prince Boleslav purchased Wojtek's body from the Prussians and buried it in the church in Gniezno. The martyr was declared saint and his remains became a relic. Owing to this fact, Emperor Otto III approved the foundation of the archbishopric in Gniezno. Radzim, Wojtek's brother, was placed in charge of it, and thus the young Polish church became independent from the German church. In the year 1000, Otto III went on a pilgrimage to the grave of his saint friend. He was greeted and welcomed by Prince Boleslav, who wanted to impress the young emperor with the grandeur of his rule. As a token of appreciation, the emperor presented Boleslav with a copy of the Spear of St. Maurice, one of the most important symbols of the empire. He also crowned Prince Boleslav's head with his own diadem. By doing so, he issued consent to the official crowning of Boleslav as the first Polish king. Various turns of events led up to the solemn ceremony of the crowning of Boleslav. It was performed in Gniezno by the successor of Radzim, Archbishop Hippolytus. Crowned and anointed, Boleslav the Brave stood in charge of the newly created Kingdom of Poland.